Alright, so today we're going to be taking off this whole crank and the bottom bracket. First, you're going to want some Allens. Find the right size for your bolt. So that's not the right size. So go up one size. Let's fight. Tight fit. I'm going to take that bolt all the way off. Set that bolt to the side. And then I want you to get your socket. Put that on your socket. And then you want to take your rear wheel off. Then you're going to want to take off your chain. Get that chain all the way off the crank. And then you're going to want to pull your arm of your crank. Might be a little bit hard, so you'll use a hammer. See, that comes right off. And then you're going to want to come to the other side, pull it all the way off. Then I put on mine, I just put these things to cover my bearings, just to keep it from getting all gunky. And this is what you should be left with. So we're just gonna set this to the side, and then we're gonna want to stick like a screwdriver or anything to beat. It's gonna be pretty hard, but you're gonna have to get it out. But if you have like a bike stand or something to hold your bike up, that would be better. But I'm kind of too poor for that, so. Yeah, so you're just gonna want to try to beat that off on both of the sides. You can take one bearing out, but if you want to take both of them out, you can just do the same thing on the other side. Or you can use a bearing puller. If you don't have a bearing puller, you just want to kind of keep your bike in one place so your whole entire bike doesn't move while you're trying to hit that bearing out. Alright, so you're just going to want to continue just beating on that till you can get that bearing. It's going to be pretty hard if you've never took the bearings out. So I've never taken these bearings out, so it's going to be fairly hard. Ow. It's actually very hard. definitely not an easy job. Alright, so I got my bottom bracket out. Now if you want to replace your bearings, so if you ever take this out, this part for here, for mine's not a small bottom bracket. I have to put these adapters in so it'd make my bearing fit. So as you can see, mine didn't have this in there. So now I'm putting this one in. And now we just have to put this in here. And then, well, this is what our bearings look like. See how mine's too big? So that's way too big for my sprocket and for my crank. You want to make sure, this is a different crank, but you see how much clay is in that? So that's not the right size crank. So this is probably a 22-inch bearing. Now you see this bearing? No play. And you don't want any play. So now we have to, if you wanted to do anything to this, you want to grab a rag, and it doesn't really matter what rag you do. You just want to kind of clean this out. Get all the old grease. And then just re-grease it up. Okay, so I'm just gonna use some Premier Nampa grease. You just want to dip your finger in it. Like that much. And then just slop her in there. And then just roll it around a couple times. This will also make the bottom bracket go in easier. And then you should be left with some residue on your hand and finger. And then you're just gonna want to wipe that off. And just wipe off the extra that's happened to get on your frame. You want to close up your grease. Done with the grease. Accent over knob. And then you want to put this in there. See, you can't put that in. You have to put this in before you put this in, because this won't go through there. Plop that in there. And then you want to get your hammer. Don't use you don't want to use a hammer with this type. That'll just totally ruin that. You want to use one of these hammers. See how it's plastic on there? Look. Just want to. It's gonna be a little bit difficult, but it's gonna work. So I'm just gonna put this shaft in here so I can just get that to stay at one place. Bang that in there. And then you'll see how that is perfectly aligned up. So you want to make sure it's perfectly lined up with your frame. And then you want to grab your crank. And then, so you do want to, so you just want to grab a crank, pop that in there, make sure it goes through make sure it rolls cleanly. See, mine does. I want to make sure it goes through that tube. So mine goes through that tube. But you want to make sure you put all your spacers on. You want to make sure your sprocket is aligned with your rear tire. We'll do that in a second. So we will grab our rear tire. Okay, now you want to grab your rear tire. You want to put her on there. And then you want to go to the back of your bike and make sure that your sprocket, or you can put on your chain. That'll probably make it easier. It will make it easier. Just another lesson. I'll tell you how to try to put on your chain. Put on your chain. It's not a difficult job. I'm just making it harder for myself. Then you want to put her on there. Then you want to get your chain on your rear. Gosh dang it. I'm being so stupid right now. Sorry. Put her on there. And you want to get chain on your sprocket. Just I'm actually it right. And then you want to look straight down. You want to look straight down your sprocket. You can see how that's super kind of leaned out too much. But you want to make sure your sprocket's all the way in. See how that's way out, way towards this way? So then you want to take off one spacer. So just take this out, take this chain off. Take the sprocket off, take one spacer out. Put this on. Just take the bearing and just put her back on. And then now that's more aligned. So that should be good. And then if you don't, and then you have to make sure, have to make sure these are straight up and down. See, mine just goes on super easily because I put some premium grease on there. Just want to put it on right here because that'll make it go in easier. But with this kind of, it should usually just slide on because this one is way easier and this one is all different teeth. So it should be way easier. See, mine's already greased up. You just want to slide it on there. Slide it on there. So you just slide on. Just want to hold the other side. Boom. Slides right on. Then you have to make sure if you have a 19 millimeter 19 millimeter shaft. So this is the same millimeter shaft. So if your sprocket's like super loose, you're missing the spacer that goes in right there. There's a spacer that goes on the sprocket, and I'll just pull it off. I'll show you. Oh, right into the grease. Then you want to pull this off. And then there's a, I don't really need to pull the whole sprocket off, but there's a spacer right there that fills in the hole that adapts this sprocket to this size. So now you just want to put your crank back on, put all your spacers back on. Key right there. Put all your spacers back on. Just slide in like that. Make sure to roll smooth. But if you have the problem I do, you probably don't have the problem that I would, because I lost the bolt for this, so this sticks out more, so I have to make mine to stick out like that. See how much that bolt sticks out? Yeah, so I have to have another spacer on there, so now it won't rub. Okay, so now you want to put your sprocket back on. Just put some grease on it. You just want to a little dab of grease and just rub it on there. So make your sprocket go on 10 times easier. Always want to lube stuff up every time. Lube it all up. And then just wipe it all off with your rag here. Then you just want to put your sprocket arm right back on. Might be a little bit of pain because you gotta get it fully aligned. Boom, there's your crank assembly. And then you have to put the bolt that holds these together back on. But don't fully tighten it, because you still have to, because yours might have to put thingy on. Ow! Just want to put this on to protect your bearing. That's what I forgot to do. Make sure all the teeth are lined up straight. Then you want to get your socket and your wrench. And you can just hand twist it on there. Your hands might be a little greasy, which will make it thin line's too tight. So I loosen it. Make it roll way better. Okay, now put your grease away. I'm done using that. I gotta clean my chain off because I got grease on it. It's on the grease bin because I'm a dangling. And then I'm going to put that right back on. Then just clean up any excess grease that's all on your crank. And then just put your rear wheel right back on. Simple, 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 simple. Nothing super hard. It's just, you don't know how to do it. Probably don't want to have it fully on yet. You want to put your chain all the way back on. And then you're gonna have to pull your wheel all the way back. And then you want to get your socket. It's your socket and wrench. And just tighten up your rear wheel. You don't want too much tension on it, because then that's the way you can make your chain snap. So you want, that's too much slack. So now I gotta re-loosen it. And then maybe just try to tighten the other side too. Other side first. So that'll make that tight. Make sure you want to tighten these up real good. See that slack right there? That's just enough slack. Okay, let's take this off the brick so we get maximum leverage. You don't have to use a wrench, you can use a drill or an impact. But don't use the drill on crank stuff. See, rolls are perfect. Alright, thank you guys for watching. That's all I got for you. See you guys next time.